Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is Oyinye, and if you're new here, you're welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any more content that I upload, okay? Okay, we are going to go straight into today's video because you already saw what it's going to be about from the title and from the thumbnail. I'm going to be talking about my experience with giving birth in Canada. I wasn't going to film this video, like it's been 1 year since I had my baby, so I had no plans of filming this video, but I've had a couple of people reach out to me about my experience with giving birth in Canada, especially the cost, which is the main reason that I didn't want to film this video, because I was not so comfortable with filming it. But I decided I was going to, because I did not find anybody with the info when I was doing my own research, when I wanted to give birth. I have family in Canada, so I had like direct information of what it was going to be, and it was totally different from everything that I have seen and read online. There are even agencies that you might have seen that are specialized in doing this sort of things, and their cost is less than half of what I paid. So it got me confused, like what channel are they using? Like, is it really a hospital? And honestly, I can't even speak to that because I did not end up using any agency or anything. I went through the direct legal official route to do the whole thing. So my experience was very different from what I have seen online. I'm going to share what that experience was in this video. So like I mentioned, I have family in Canada, so I was visiting when I had my baby, and I am again not going to speak about like visa requirements or anything. If you want to do that, it's straightforward. I did my own application by myself. I didn't contact any agency or anything. I just went to their official website, did the whole application, got my visa, and that was it. If you have any questions about the visa application or whatnot, you can leave it in the comment section and I will respond, but I will not be covering that in detail in this video because I think that the process is straightforward. So the way the Canadian healthcare system is set up, everything is monitored, sort of. They are all registered under something. It's like a whole, I don't know what it's called now. Like they have NHS in the UK, there's something they call it, I can't remember, but it's something like that. They have like a whole body that regulates all of that, so you cannot just go into the hospital like we would in Nigeria and just buy a card or register and then start getting treatment. That is not necessarily how it works there. So when I got to Canada, I didn't have a family doctor, but I did not necessarily need a family doctor. I needed an OBGYN, like doctors who birth kids. But in order to get to those people, you need a referral. You just cannot walk into their clinics. I tried to search for some of them, but they all work based on referral. You have to have been referred from somewhere. At least the ones I found. Again, all of these things I'm sharing are my experience. It's probably not everybody else's experience, but again, I will only tell you what I know firsthand. So yeah, I was saying you need referral from somebody to get to them. So we eventually realized very quickly that we would need to go through the official route to do the whole thing. So there's a body, I'm not going to mention the name. So there's like a regulatory body that monitors birth tourism in Canada. I learned that they were like a new concept. I don't know how true this is, but a lot of people who had done this years ago said that that was not what it was, but it was in my case. So we had to go through that official body. So I contacted them through email, sent a message and all of that, and then they sent me like a few documents which detailed all of the processes, the cost, and like what I would need to do, which is what I did. Basically, you do a deposit with them. They would now refer you to like a clinic where you have your OBGYN, your appointments and all of that. So they manage all of that communication. So they will become the in-between between you and the doctor not hospital, just you and the clinic that you use before you eventually go to the hospital. So you really don't go to the hospital until you are ready to give birth. I did not go to the hospital until the morning I was scheduled to give birth. So I just went to the clinic and spoke to the doctor. I did some lab tests. We are jumping. But yeah, you do that deposit, and in my case it was $15,000 Canadian dollars. So you do the deposit, and that covers your appointment, every appointment that you have before you give birth. It costs a bit. If you guys can hear my baby, please ignore her. I did one ultrasound, I think, yeah, it was just one, and I paid out of pocket for that. I went with all of my test history, so I didn't have to repeat a lot of the tests that I had done previously because my doctor detailed that out. I just had to do that one ultrasound so that she knows the current situation of things. So I did that ultrasound, and I also had to do blood test as well. So because I was doing surgery, they needed to have like details of my blood just in case I need transfusion, and I had like history of transfusion, so they needed to be prepared in case of that. So I had to do blood tests for that. So this is what now, 2 lab tests, and I paid out of pocket for these 2, and these were about $300 each or more. What else? I had 2 doctor's appointments before I gave birth. So depending on when you contact them and when you arrive Canada, the number of appointments that you have with your doctor before birth can vary. But mine was just 2. I had only 2 appointments with them, and each of these appointments cost something as well. But this is covered by the deposits that you make with the regulatory body. Those are the things that I did outside giving birth. Out of all of those things, the only thing that is covered from that deposit is the doctor's appointment, not the ultrasound or the test. Those ones I had to pay from my pocket. Then the deposit also covers your doctor's fees. So however many doctors that you need during your birth process, that covers it. In my case, there were quite a few. I had about 2 doctors, the main doctor, her assistant, an anesthesiologist, and nurses. So that deposit covered for that. What the deposit does not cover, and another cost that shocked me, was the hospital fees. So your doctor fees are quite different from the hospital fees, which I found quite interesting. Because why? Like, why is it different? But it is, and it's not a small cost at all. For every night that you stay at the hospital, you have to pay for yourself and the baby. Mine came up to $5,000 plus, and my baby's was 2,000 plus. So total was about 8K plus, and you have to do that every single night that you stay at the hospital. And this is not covered in the deposits. There are 2 separate payments that you have to do. At least you have to do that first night's payment. In fact, before I was wheeled into the theater, my sister had to go downstairs and make the payment for the first night. You must do that payment, and as you stay, you continue to pay. So it was quite interesting. By the time you add up all of these expenses, we ended up spending somewhere between 25 to 30K Canadian dollars. That was what you spent for giving birth alone. I would mention that anytime you go to the emergency room, they deduct about $1,000 from that deposit, whether or not it's related to the birth experience or not. Once you access any hospital facility, they deduct $1,000 from that deposit. And I had to go to the emergency room once, and then I had to be readmitted for a 5-day period. But the cost of this I would not include in the birth experience, because not everybody ends up with, the complication that I had. But give or take $25 to $30 for the birth, which is what you should be preparing to have before going to Canada to give birth. Even if somebody promised you a cheaper experience, you should just be prepared, just in case things don't pan out the way that you planned that they would. Things go. I did not envision that I was going to be readmitted and acquire extra costs. I didn't plan for that, but it happened, and we had to deal with that. So you need to be prepared for whatever comes your way. Now, just so that I am fair, I would like to say that when I was ready to come back home and I was preparing for like my daughter's visa, there was a lady that I spoke to, and I think she's one of those people that does the whole give birth in Canada business thing. And she was asking me why I went to the province that I went to. So from what she said, she was saying that it was because of where I gave birth. That was why I had to pay as much as I did. But one of the people who reached out to me recently was planning to do like a different province and discovered that the cost was quite alarming. And when I spoke to her, the cost that they were being asked to pay was a bit more than I paid. I don't know if that is something they can do for you, or if they have like a different way of doing things. But personally, I'm more comfortable with doing things the right way, because if things go left, God forbid, we don't plan for things to go left, but it happens, you need to know that you're in safe hands, and you know you are going to be fine. That was my experience. Yeah. I think that I covered everything, but if there's anything specific you want to know, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section and I'll respond to it if I have the answers. And yeah, that's it. Make sure to like this video if you found it helpful. If you liked it, click the like button. Also subscribe to my channel if you are not yet subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.